Hey guys, it's Adam. It's actually 3 in the morning right now. Why am I up? Who knows? Anyway, I wanted to get back to you guys because you might have seen my first part of the double feature American Horror Story review. Well, I have now completed the second part. I have made it through. Hallelujah. It's over. Unfortunately, the show is not over, but this this season is over. So I made a bunch of notes while watching it so that I remember what to talk about. I will say the second part was definitely better than the first part, but there's still so many pretentious, terrible things in this show. There were no annoying children this time, so that was good. Um, so basically, let me sum up this. Obviously, spoilers. So if you haven't watched the second half of Double Feature, click off and come back and watch when you have. And sorry about my voice; it's a little the weather messing my voice. Is kind of dealing with that right now. But the basic premise is that alien invasion happens, probably 50s or 60s, I guess. Whenever Eisenhower was president, I'm not going to look it up. And basically, he has to make a treaty with them so that they can harvest humans for their survival or something like that. So basically, he signs a treaty because his wife is, brainwashed or captured by the aliens, and so that's a big thing. Let's see what else happens. Let me just talk about some of the good things in it, because there was some good. I will give credit. Neil McDonough was great as Dwight Eisenhower. Craig Sheffer was really good as Nixon. Sarah Paulson, as usual, very good. Everybody else was serviceable, in the roles they were playing and stuff. But then some of the creature hybrid things were decent, and some of the body horror was also good. But let me tell you a little bit about some of the rest of it. So as I said, I think I mentioned in the first episode, they capture these 4 people and they get basically impregnated. So that's happening in 2021. So there's a lot of flashbacks back and forth between times and stuff like that. So anyway, here's a couple of ridiculous things that they did in the show. Let's see. Eisenhower and Nixon go to visit Kennedy, who's president at this point, and they let him know about this treaty and this thing with the aliens and all that. And Kennedy tells Marilyn Monroe, and then she starts talking and all that. And then guess what happens? They go and pretend to make it look like Marilyn Monroe OD'd. Because it was just the government that killed Marilyn Monroe to keep her quiet. Not disrespectful to Marilyn Monroe's family whatsoever. Then, guess what, guys? Kennedy gets killed because he's going to talk too. And they make it implied that Nixon and Eisenhower are behind it. So, okay. First of all, bullshit. Second of all, I know it's just a show. It's not a real narrative. But, you know what? Whatever you think about Richard Nixon had nothing to do with the fucking Kennedy assassination. That's something that Oliver Stone hinted at in the Nixon movie. It's like, yes, there were definitely probably people involved in the government that we'll never know. But I really don't think Richard Nixon had anything to do with it. He was a paranoid son of a bitch. But beyond that, he wasn't going to have the guy killed, even if we didn't like him. So regardless, that's that. Also, guys, we faked the moon landing. They actually fucking put that in here. That there was a set in the Area 51 that they were given by Eisenhower, and they faked the moon landing. And this one, Leslie Grossman's character meets Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin at a bar, who just happened to be there at the same time that the moon landing was supposedly happening. So we're giving credence to that for the story, because basically sounding like you're a friggin' flat earther. Totally great writing, really great. Yes, freaking Steve Jobs shows up and is talking to the people at Area 51. I guess for the technology. So the basic deal was that they would give us all this technology, so you're getting basically it's 1960s, but you're getting iPhones and things like that, and microwaves and everything else. Nothing we came up with ourselves, just aliens. Came and gave us piddly little humans these things. Yay. great message. Let's see, what else? Oh, there's also a race of lizard aliens as well. Henry Kissinger was one. They really don't explore it whatsoever or see anything else from the other aliens. It's just kind of thrown in there. Okay. Let's see, what does this one say? Oh yes, and Mimi Eisenhower pretty much stays throughout the story. Somehow she's, because of, I don't know, if the aliens or Area 51 thing, she survives all this time. And so she apparently was deep throat during the whole Nixon thing. So basically they convinced Nixon to resign by probing him. Yes, they probed Richard Nixon. That's why he resigned. And some robot alien wrote his speech for him when he resigned. So yeah, it's like, okay, we get it, guys. You hate Nixon. That's fine. I hate Trump. So, I get it. But like, if you didn't hit it over the nail over the head, because that's what they do every single time, hit the nail on the head. Let's see, what else? Probe Nixon. There's one point where the gay couple, they're actually embracing this whole thing about, the baby's coming out of us, and then basically what happens is they basically take the baby out, they cut the baby out, and then, when it's a guy at least, and then basically they check it and see if it's a perfect specimen, and then they slit his throat if it's not. So they try to break away and break the baby out themselves, and then the, the baby jumps. I actually laughed at it. It was so bad. Because it's just like, they pull the baby out, they're like, it's so beautiful, and then the thing basically xenomorphs the guy's face. I'm like, so now we're ripping off xenomorphs too. Awesome. Keep up that originality there, Ryan Murphy. Let's see. But also the funniest thing about this is just that, like, alien technology, it takes them 60 years to come up with a perfect specimen. 60 years. But they have all this technology 50 years, 60 years ahead. But they can't come up with that to breed the perfect hybrid human-alien thing. So maybe Eisenhower finds this stuff out, and basically they kill her, and Rachel Grossman's character just goes along with it and whatever. But like, yeah. So basically the message is, yeah, you humans suck, and you ruin the planet, and we're here to take it over because you suck. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I disagree that a lot of humans sucked. But there's also a lot of good people who actually do care about the earth and care about, each other. And, I think at the end of the day, it's like, but you guys are literally probing people and stuffing babies in them and making people go through this and trapping them in Area 51. So you're not exactly positive. It's not like they were doing something great for humanity, for the planet, were they? I mean, they're just basically, anyway. But yeah, I feel like, the aliens were not really, you didn't see them that much. They were kind of just, there was a few hybrids here and there. So there wasn't a lot of, you saw the aliens popping out of people. It was basically just the impregnation stuff. They went through a lot. Excuse me with my voice here. But like, it just, and I thought they were hinting that it was going to tie into the first part somehow. Let me just say it just ends. It just ends. And there's nothing that ties it back into the black pill from the first part or the vampires or anything like that. No connection whatsoever. So I guess they really were separate stories. I mean, that's fine. I would say, basically, if I was to rate these separately, along with some of the problems that the alien thing had, it was still better than the freaking vampire thing. Honestly, I think they should have just done an alien as the full thing. Forget the double feature, forget the vampire creativity bullshit that they did, because that dragged on, and 6 episodes of it was way too much. If I was to do the split, I would have stopped at 5 and then did 5 for this, because I think you could have done more. But it was just kind of the historical stuff, and it's one of those things that bothers me. It's not like you can't do historical footage or historical characters and tie them into your story. There's nothing wrong with that. And I'm sure as an actor, it's definitely a cool thing. Like I said, Neil McDonough was great. I've always liked him as an actor. He doesn't always get the best. He always gives his all in the roles he's given. He doesn't always get the best projects to work on. Arrow season 4. But he's very good. And like I said, Craig Sheffer was, barely recognizable, but his Nixon acting was pretty good, I thought. So I thought him, Sarah Paulson, and Neil McDonough were the strongest actors in the second half. Yeah, Evan Peters doesn't show up in the second half. Frances Conroy doesn't show up. Lily Rabb's there briefly as Amelia Earhart, and then she's dead. So it's just like, woo! Thanks for coming. No Macaulay Culkin either in the second half, so he was only in the first half, which I get, with the pandemic and all that stuff. So I'm sure that affected some of it. So yeah, overall, yeah, I'm glad it's over. Thank God I've made it. Unless they really hook me with another season, I don't know. The writing is just really not great. And I just feel like they rely too much on real life people. And not that you can't do, like I said, it can be really well done sometimes, but it was nice to not have a serial killer show up, at least for once, because the romanticizing of serial killers that they've done in this show several times. But at the same time, it's just as cool as the performances were, it's just do we really need Nixon and Eisenhower and all that? And I don't know. It just felt kind of like you could have just done an alien story set in this time, or maybe it hits in the past a little bit. That's fine. You want to go to the 70s or something like that. I mean, that can work, but just keep it in there, and deal with that. Because then it feels more like that kind of 1950s era thing of War of the Worlds type of thing, where you're more more the fear of it, with a little bit of tie-in with Alien or something like that, if you want to go with the 70s. But I don't know, it just felt like it didn't know what it wanted to do. It kept going back and forth between the past and the present, and I was just when it was in the past, pretty solid. I would have rather just kept it in the past the whole time, honestly, and forgotten about these modern day characters. Because it was just kind of it took it 60 years to finally get one of these things that we didn't kill. I mean, it's just and then it's oh, big surprise. The deal was, well, we seen you humans suck at destroying the planet, so we're just going to kill y'all, basically. Big surprise. You trusted aliens. And the whole thing was sign this or we'll go to the Russians. It's just okay, let them go to the damn Russians. I mean, technology, schmology. It's fuck, who cares? I'm not going to harvest fucking people, but it is what it is. But no, I thought, like I said, for the acting performances, for the most part, I thought it was solid. Better than the first half, for sure. But yeah, overall this season, thumbs down. And I think 84 wasn't great, but it had some good stuff to it. And this had, like I said, this second half had some better stuff to it, I will say. I wasn't as annoyed, except for some of the historical stuff. Oh, by the way, I was Deep Throat. And I'm just come on, really? Just so you know, this happened because of this. And it's just or maybe it didn't. Think about that. So anyway, guys, yeah, maybe I'll do a ranking of all 10 seasons soon. At some point, or maybe go blow by blow of each, talking about them. Maybe when my voice is a little less hoarse. It's been raining nonstop all week, and I was out on the field coaching, and that somehow just did something to my vocal cords. So that's why I sound like this. Otherwise, I feel fine. But yeah, so my voice is a little shot, so apologize for that. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this second half review of American Horror Story Season 10 double feature, the Death Valley part. So I guess if you want to finish the season, finish the season. But like I said, I've done 10 seasons unless some amazing actor signs on that I really want to see in the performance, I'm probably going to stop here. Because I have this tendency to hang on to things. I went through all 8 seasons of Arrow. I have a tendency to not give up. Not always. I gave up on The Walking Dead a couple seasons ago. But most of the time I'm well, there's still certain actors in it I like. So I'll, let's see what they do with it. And I was at the beginning, I was really interested in the Sirens thing. I mean, they probably would have still screwed it up. But, the Sirens thing sounded good. So, hey, do a Siren season next season. If you could do that. Do the freaking Sirens that we thought we were going to get instead of the freaking vampires. So there was my advice. You want to hook me back in, do the goddamn Siren season. But then again, I don't know that I'll still watch it or not. It is, it does take a lot of time to get through those 45 minutes each episode. So there's lots of better things that are on. Stargirl's about to have its season finale next week. It's been excellent. Creepshow is really good. Let's see, Dexter's the new one's coming out. Looking forward to that. I finished season 3 of You, which I should do a review of that as well. All these things are much better than watching American Horror Story. So, all right, guys, I'm gonna wrap this up because I need to, take a nap before we're having a Halloween party tonight. So I gotta do a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna go to bed. And thank you guys. Like and subscribe. And thanks for checking out.